Alright, so I mentioned this movie in my last video, and I may have said something in that video that not a lot of people would agree with. I mean, these are just my opinions, and I have the right to have my opinion. And if you agree with me, that's great. If not, well, then I'm an idiot, and you can comment that down below. Passion of the Christ. So Passion of the Christ is a movie directed by Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is known to make these historical movies that are bigger than life and also make them as brutal as possible. Braveheart being one. There's also Apocalypto, even Hacksaw Ridge. And Passion of the Christ is no exception when it comes to that. And some people even say that this is by far Mel Gibson's most brutal movie. And a lot of people think that he just completely glorified the whole situation. For me, I have to say, well, the last 12 hours of Jesus Christ's life was not exactly a picnic. I mean, it was pretty darn brutal. I mean, the fact that he was definitely beaten, had a crown of thorns placed on his head, he had to carry a super heavy cross across the entire city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem being an insanely big city, and has to take it out of the city, basically nailed on the darn thing, and get put up on display, and at the same time not having any water or food. I can't even imagine the type of conditions he was in those final moments. So you could definitely feel the pain that he was in. And another thing, okay, before I talk more about the whole things that I have problems with, let's talk about the characters. Jim Caviezel plays Jesus Christ, and he completely nails it as Jesus Christ. Now, I don't care about color or ethnicity, so long as you nail the character of Jesus Christ right, you got it. And some of my favorite scenes with him has nothing to do with the torture or the brutality scenes that this movie has. No, it's got to do with the flashbacks. You have him on top of the mountain doing his teachings, or him saving people on a regular basis, or even just him building a table. It just shows that he was a man. He was a character. He was interesting. He was likable. That's exactly the Jesus that I want to see. And another thing that I'm really glad that they expanded on was his mother, Mary. Mary is in this movie. She's with Mary Magdalene. They're watching this whole thing. They're distraught of what they're seeing. And all I'm thinking the whole time is, some people really forget that this is Mary's first child, her firstborn. And from a mother's perspective, I can't even imagine what she may be going through in this moment. I mean, the final shot of her doesn't have her saying anything. It doesn't have her crying. She's just having this blank stare into the distance. And the whole time I'm thinking, wow, I can't even imagine what she may be thinking about in this moment. I mean, her child is dead. And what does that do to a parent? It just speaks major volumes. And another character that they definitely expanded on was Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate is definitely mentioned many times in the Bible. He was the Roman governor of Jerusalem, because Rome at the time, even though they controlled all those territories, they still allowed people to continue their traditions, including their religions. The governors are only there just to either take the taxes, or even also to control Roman law. And the fact that they expanded on his story just made him a whole lot more interesting character. And this movie starts off with Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane doing his prayer, and he's just not having a good day. I mean, he is sweating all over the place. He just has fear in his eyes. And what I really love about this scene is that in the background, underneath this bridge, you see this man. You can clearly tell that this man is the devil. I love the fact that this movie never mentions that he is the devil. You just know. I mean, he's just wearing this dark hood. He has a pale face. His eyes look like that they are glowing, and he is just whispering to him. And this whole entire scene just made it either a really troublesome scene to an insanely creepy scene. And I love the fact that he isn't just in that one scene alone. He's sprinkled out throughout this movie. He's either there in a crowd. You could see the devil walking in the background holding that creepy looking child. He's either taunting him, smirking at him. So that brings in a little bit more about the whole heaven, earth, and hell situation, that there's more going on than just, what they're doing to him. Okay, so here comes the criticisms that I talked about. I mentioned in that video that it's not my favorite Mel Gibson movie, and these are the reasons why. The reason why this is not one of my favorite Mel Gibson movies, or even one of my favorite Jesus Christ movies, is because the thing that Mel Gibson definitely missed, was the point. Why he needed to die. Why did the priests or men of power want him dead? He completely missed all those markers. And since there is a scene of him entering the city of Jerusalem with everyone waving those leaves around, they definitely had a beginning. I still think to myself, that's where the movie should have started, so they can, get the whole plot points on why these men of power wanted him dead. Why did they fear him? Why did they want him gone? All those explanations we really did not get. For me, this entire movie, although very important, it just feels like I'm just watching a chapter in his life, and I'm not getting the whole purpose and the whole meaningful message on why he had to die and what was really going on. So those are my biggest criticisms when it comes to Passion of the Christ. For me, it is kind of mostly focused on the brutality of his death and his torture and all that type of stuff, and kind of ignoring the whole message behind it. So that's kind of a major downgrade when it comes to Passion of the Christ. But other than that, if you love the story of Jesus Christ, this would definitely be a movie to check out. If you don't like torturous scenes or even gore or brutality, this probably will not be a movie you want to watch. But either way, those are my thoughts on Passion of the Christ. And I gotta say, it does have the loving moments. It does have good acting. It does have some moments that capture you. So I gotta say, Passion of the Christ is classic. So guys, Passion of the Christ, have you seen it? What did you think of it? Whatever you thought, comment down below. Also, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.